That's good. Anybody else want to share? Come on.
Hey guys, I'm Robert.
Hi, Robert.
I'm with the brokerage, but I'm here independent now, and looking forward to getting another one.
Oh, you'll make some friends, Robert.
Yeah, I'm ready. So I have a referral for a listing in San Bernardino. Part of the local agent there. Listed it a week ago Saturday, and we're in escrow.
Yay.
Excellent. Well,
Congratulations.
so every market's a little different, and when Robert came to me and said, told me some of the things that she does in that market to get things sold quickly, because it is a challenging market. I mean, San Bernardino is not like a slam dunk. Prices are, they're, as you go further from the center of desirability, the opportunities get more challenging, right? And so she had a couple strategies in doing that. One was,
She suggested increasing the percentage for the buyer side.
Yeah.
And she's like, I've been doing this for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's like magic. The showings just keep rolling in.
Yeah.
And she priced.
so what was the increased three? So was it a total of 5.5% or a total of 5%? You did a 3 and 6%. She got a 6% listing. And what was the price point?
Price point is $589.
$589. And so, again, any other little tips and tricks that you use to get it done quickly? Pricing strategy.
Yes. It was on the market for 90 days, and
With someone else.
Exactly, with someone else, and they weren't getting any movement, and the listing agent just put it up and didn't do anything with it. And needed a price reduction, and it just didn't happen. So we were able to reprice it. I think a little under, just to get ahead of this market and not be chasing it, and they were totally open to that, and
So what was the listing price?
$589.
$589 was the listing price,
Yeah,
and you came in over asking or at asking?
That was a stick.
You're in contract.
3%.
Yeah.
Was the asking.
Got it. All right. Excellent. And I think that's, we will need every advantage in moving forward in this market. And right now, while it's transitioning to wherever it's going, right? It's, I've been saying this over and over. It's the not knowing that makes people gives people more consternation than the high interest rate, right? If we settle into, for instance, I don't think we will, but if we settle into 7% as the norm for a longer period of time, human beings will adjust their expectation, their plan, and everything, and move forward, because human beings want what they want, right? And so is it going to go down next week? Is it going to go down in a month? Are prices going to, is it going to crash? Is it going to this, or, right? So it's that not knowing that, that really, I think, I use this word because it makes the most sense to me, but it constipates the market, and it constipates the buyers. They seize up, they will wait, right? They won't wait forever, but they'll wait for a period of time. And that coupled with seasonality right now is an issue, right? So any tools we have, any weapons we have in getting our sellers the best price today and our buyers the best price today, right, is what we're looking for, right, in the end. All right, great. Anybody else tell me something good? Anybody online want to share?
Yeah.
Chit chat? Two in the chat. What is that? Wait, anything consequence there? Just Brian. Brian's just doubling up. All right, there we go. All right. Right next we have Eileen. Classic. And understandably, All right, next we have, what do we have? Diwali. This is, we do need,
Around the world, people are lighting up the sky with fireworks and dressing up their
Ryan.
homes with colorful decor and candles. It's Diwali, the festival of lights.
Can we pause it? Is that
Diwali was inspired from a Sanskrit
Uh-oh.
That sounds like on. That sounds like a connection.
sounds promising.
There's information. All right. Hey, Lorna, say something so we can see if that's coming through. No,
Can you hear me now?
absolutely. There we
So-
go. All right. Go
You
ahead.
want me to tell you what Diwali is?
Thank you.
Diwali is a Hindu celebration. It's basically a focus celebrating triumph of good over evil. So in short verse, it's the festival of lights.
All right. And go on, Atate.
word called Deepavali, which means rows of lit lamps. And that's why Diwali is known as the Festival of Lights. The 5-day festival is celebrated every fall by Hindus, Sikhs, Jains, and some Buddhists. Hindus celebrate Diwali to rejoice Lord Ram's return home after being exiled for 14 years and defeating a king known as Ravan. Jains celebrate the festival to mark the spiritual awakening of their lord, Mahavira. Sikhs celebrate Diwali to commemorate their spiritual leader Guru Har Govind's return to Amritsar, a city in northern India, after being imprisoned. And some Buddhists celebrate the festival to honor their emperor Ashoka's decision to follow a path of peace and converting to Buddhism, after witnessing a lot of killings. Although these 4 religions have different reasons for celebrating Diwali, what they all have in common is the concept of new beginnings, light over darkness, and good over evil. Diwali is celebrated with prayers, fireworks, candles lit inside of clay pots, rangolis, which are colored patterns drawn on the ground with colored rice or powder, and it's also a good reason to invite friends and family over for a big meal.
I like
I
all of
love
that.
all of that, yes.
I love the
Yeah. Fun, fun, fun.
Diwali next year.
whole- Yeah.
So do your own version of that. And then we have a big month coming up next month for our Indigenous brothers and sisters. So we'll talk to you about that.
Hold on a second. Yeah, Lorna, what were you saying?
Oh, did you not hear me? I said just do your own version of Diwali and enjoy and triumph over evil with all your goodness and light. And next month we have a big celebration for our Indigenous brothers and sisters. That's what I said.
Bravo. All right. All right. I love this. I stole this from Frank over on the West Side. Charlie Munger is Warren Buffett's sidekick there, and I love business partner. Well, same thing. And so he kind of flips this on his side, and so we're always talking about how to lead a very substantial life and meaningful life and a happy life and as a business person, and so Frank came up with these 10 ways Charlie, kind of flips it in how to lead a miserable life if that's what your intention is. And so Frank flipped it and he put in 10 ways on how to not be successful in real estate. And it starts with start tomorrow. Okay. And I love that. It's number 10. And then it's number 9 is fail once and quit forever. Right. And then number 8 is assume you are always right. Right. And number 7 is believe what other people think and tell you about yourself. Number 6 is never answer your phone or return a call. Yeah, that's a good one, right? Yep. Number 5, of course, is don't use a CRM, right? To contact your stay connected to your client base. Number 4 is never follow up with anyone
ever, Tracy.
I follow with everybody.
I-
If they want it or not.
Exactly.
With handwritten notes.
Yeah,
God forbid a phone call. Oh, I call too.
I got her, yeah, after last week's call.
I text.
Number 3 is never do what you say you will do. I love that one. And then number 2, never do your one thing. And then number 1 is never call your sphere of influence. All right. So if you're the type of person that does the opposite of what you're asked to do, or what has been proven to be successful or of consequence, here's your list. Do the opposite of this, please, and thank you.
Reverse psychology thing.
It's all perspective. Yeah, whatever works for you. You know, I've been on the positive end of this conversation forever, so now I'm going to try the opposite for the people who do the opposite of what I tell them to do to be successful. There you go. Right?
I'm not gonna follow your rules. I'm gonna start today.
You go, rebel. You go. You go. Rebel yourself into success. All right. Next we have, I thought it was funny. What do we have next? We have our announcements for the weekend. New continuing education. We talk about this, and we will continue to. The two new pieces to your continuing education would be a 2 hours on implicit bias and a fair housing course that you will that will be integrated. A 3-hour fair housing course that will be integrated into your continuing education, and they're integrated in there because they're problems, right? Because they've come up as problems at the DRE. There's litigation, and people are getting sued for different pieces of this. So they want our agents to be educated on it, right? Please and thank you. Every Tuesday, can't say enough. It's fun, fun, fun. We go out 11 to 2, not just for new agents, but everyone is welcome to jump on the train. I think we saw 7 or 8 houses yesterday. Yeah, it was a lot. It's fun. We meet here at the office at 11, at least every other week. This Thursday is our office mixer at Short Stories. I heard someone's going to be wearing a costume, but it's not mandatory by any means. But if you're interested, please do. That is from 5 to 7. Come and mingle and connect with people, and and have some fun. Right? It was fun last time. We had a blast. Oh my God. Yeah, it was a fun. One thing. Christy's going to be teaching the one thing. Hour and a hour. Well, let's see. From 1 p.m. to 2:30 Tuesday, November 14th. It's a breakout class. She's going to be going over the one thing. Put that in your schedules for the 14th of November. We have a couple of weeks, and we'll talk about it again, right? And what's next is a reminder. Create your 2023 business plan in GPS. I'm sorry. Christy's going to be going over this on November 15th, 1 to 2:30. It's another breakout class. We're going to be having as many business planning clinics and conversations as we possibly can. I want you guys to have a plan for your business for next year. It's important every year, but in challenging markets, it's so important if you want to be successful. And I'll say this one more time. Most of our top 10 agents, they created their success in the last downturn. That's where they don't not only survive the last downturn, but they actually thrived and built their businesses stronger. When you build a business in a challenging market, it's much more. It has much more structural integrity than when in a flush market. In a flush market, everything's coming at you, and you are you're processing business, right? And in that, you create some bad habits and shortcuts and things like that.
when business slows down and you're confronted with the challenges of the current market, it's when you start to see those imperfections and those frailties of your business practices. So building in a challenging market is an advantage in the long run. Okay. And so business planning is at the core of it. Boom. All right. Upcoming classes. If you know, you know. Is that the expression? The morning calls are wonderful, and they're stimulating, and they're nurturing, and they're for everyone. Get on it. 9 a.m.
Absolutely. And don't feel like you have to do it Monday through Friday. If you need a couple of days where you're doing other things, we completely understand. Pop in when you can.
Devoid of judgment.
100%.
Take it all, take some. Christy, again, power hour. She does 9 to 10 every day. A group power hour online, and then teaching Ignite from 10 to 11:30, sometimes a little longer every day. And Christy goes through, Ignite now has 22 units, right? They added on a bunch, then they took off a bunch, then now they added back more. There's 22 units to Ignite, and Christy teaches each of them every month, the whole cycle, right? So jump in where you want or can, if we need to. You know what? For the future, Tati / Paula / Brian, could we get the classes for that week? Right? Yeah, get a little more granular on it. All right, email campaigns tomorrow. Referrals overview on Friday, and then on Monday, Facebook paid ads.
Jerry, what's the difference between Scott Leroy and Michael Lewis? Did it provide?
Scott Leroy has no marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I mean, he does have some things in there, but that's not what he's about. Michael Lewis is about is a marketing suite that has a DIY and a concierge piece to it. Right? Which means do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do it for you.
And Scott Leroy, he's just there
He's
to
just
help with
right.
command and setting up the system.
Command and setting up your systems. Yeah. He's a support system. Scott Leroy, everything's free.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's free. Yep. The DIY piece of Michael Lewis, of course, is free. And the concierge is, I think, more than reasonable. More than reasonable. You get a great thing. Clouded preliminary title reports. David Ehrlich is going to be talking about that on the 27th, which is
Tomorrow.
The next Thursday that we experience. That's between 12 and 1 o'clock. David will be on Zoom.
I like that.
Soft save.
And it seems like David is on a call.
David, are you on the call? No, that was Ben, I think. Who jumped in.
That was me. Hey, Joey, just real quickly, I will be on the call, be on the classroom tomorrow too, just to chime in with any other questions. So look forward to seeing everybody there.
Thank you as usual, Ben. So Ben will be on this call with David, talking about clouded preliminary title reports. Just preliminary titles or just clouded title reports in general, right?
In general, yeah. I think David has this program. I'm just going to be on there in case there's any other questions outside of, we work together to answer the questions.
You're the boss. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next is core services. The lovely Andy.
Yeah, I'm here.
I can't see you, but let's see if that gets.
Do
Yeah.
you want me to stand up?
Andy, yeah. You can. I think it could see you now.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Joey, it's always such an easy sort of move into what I'm going to talk about. we talk about real estate as being in a transitional market. And I think it's really important for everybody to know this business is always transitional.
Yep.
It does not matter if it's up, if it's down, if it's sideways, it doesn't matter. We're always in transition. The last couple of years, everybody's been drinking from a fire hose. There was a transitional period for that too. If you all remember, right, when we shut down for COVID, it was like somebody pulled the emergency brake and everybody goes, oh my God, what is going to happen? There was transition. Loan programs were being pulled and things like that. So it's always a transitional market. The other thing too is I was actually on a call on Friday, and something that was really sort of inspirational to me and just a reminder. We're constantly talking to ourselves about it's going to get easier. It'll get easier once I get over this hump. It'll get easier once I accomplish this. It'll get easier, once XYZ happens, right? Once I put this behind me, it's going to get easier. And the truth is that it doesn't get easier. We get better at harder, right? So I think it's important. I think it's,
To the point of building your business in a challenging market.
yeah,
I love that. We'll say that one more time. We get
Get
better.
at harder.
things don't get easier, we get better at harder.
We get better and harder. I love that.
Yeah. So, and it's in life, in business, like we're always going to be in economic cycles. We're always going to be in market shifts. We're going to be in life shifts, aging parents, kids going off to school, whatever it is, we're always in transition. So just keep that in mind and head down and stick to it.
Yeah. And use your resources to alleviate fear, right? I think, fear exists in the unknown, right? When you know what is possible, when you know why it's happening, when you can share that with your community, that's a gift that you have to share. And just arm yourself with as much information as possible from trusted sources, right? This is the time where we earn our clients at a higher level, and our and support systems like yourself earn, that this is where you earn those relationships too, right? By providing solid information that we can use in our businesses. And so, Ven and you and David are all really great support systems and trusted like sources of like non-hair on fire information, right?
Well, I think the other piece of it too is we all make decisions different if we operate in fear. And if we're relaying information from a perspective of fear, that information and the message is going to be much different and look a lot different, right? And feeding somebody's fear. If you're talking to a client who is, a pessimist and doesn't understand or fearful because of financial issues or whatever the case is, that message is going to be relayed different. It's going to be perceived different. So that was one piece. And then the other piece is, you guys, I said before November, we've had a positive reaction. All of a sudden, senators and other members of the Fed are going, hey, Jerome Powell, you need to pump the brakes. Like, inflation is important, but so is unemployment. You are going at the thing like a rocket ship, and you better slow your roll or we're going to have major impacts.
Yeah.
So next Fed meeting is November 2nd. We're anticipating a 0.75% increase. December, we're anticipating just 0.5%. So long story short, the bond market and
That's the slow of the roll.
well, that could be that is potentially the end of the rate hikes. They were talking about rate hikes well into next year, and December could be the end of it. The rest of the Fed board and other senators are going, we got to see the proof in the pudding. Let's wait and see what these inflation numbers look like. Let's see the results. Let's see it actually impact inflation numbers.
We're seeing it roll back just a little bit, right?
Oh yeah. Numbers and stuff in terms of manufacturing and wholesale numbers and things like that are starting to roll out. We're going to get the CPI numbers for October, I think around November 4th-ish, November 6th, something like that. And again, we're comparing year over year. So last October, we had a CPI number of 0.6, which means inflation increased by 0.6%. Anything below that is going to be positive for mortgage rates. And again, as we get further into the year and into next year, those inflation numbers were high. So as we see these things, and like we've talked about for the last 8 months, as we see these numbers rolling back, it'll be positive for the bond market in the 10-year. So we'll see mortgage rates come down, and here we go, another transition.
Yeah. And there's, yeah, I feel fairly confident there's going to be movement. Is how does that affect the buyer and sellers, right? There's a lag time with buyers and sellers in moving to the current market, you know, of the moment, right? And it's our job to make sure that they have the current information, right? So that they can make the best choice today, right? Opposed to getting it from USA Today or some national source of information that is not, that really not, that is not pertinent to our market.
Yeah, well, I mean, for instance, Diana Olick today on CNBC was given the housing report, and she does it, you know, all the time, every day, whatever, however often she's on. Anyway, she said that contract cancellations were at 24%. What she left out was that it's normal if 15% of contracts are canceled. The gap isn't as big as it sounds.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
it's a national number, and that's a national number.
National.
And so, you know, if our clients are seeing that number and they're looking, sellers are looking at that, and they don't understand the nuance of that or the hyper local conversation,
There's a lot of
you're
fine
losing
print left
an
out.
opportunity. What's that?
And no, she's right. There's a lot of fine print.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No perspective.
and that's our job.
Are you still working the write-down program?
oh yeah, that program's been around for years, actually. We've never had to use it.
Okay.
You know, a year ago when rates were almost 4% lower, today it marked like 3.875 lower. There was no need to do a 2-to-1 beta. So
Well, the way that it has been worked for the last month or so is that it's a credit from the seller that buys from the credit. Can the credit come from anywhere, like Nike, Wi-Fi, and a point for that, and then have the seller put them?
sure. So just for the people online, the question was about the 2-to-1 buy down program. That program is different than paying points to buy down your interest rate. This would be a scenario where you're literally going, we're qualifying based on today's rate. If today's rate is 7%, the buyer can either pay for it themselves or get a credit from either their agent or the seller to buy down the interest rate. The first year it's bought down 2% below market rate, which would be 5%. It then adjusts on the second year up 1%, so then we're at 6%. And on year 3, we then go back up to where market rates are today. It doesn't matter who pays for it from a logical standpoint. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for a buyer to necessarily pay for it. You're paying for the savings up front. You don't ever lose the money like you would if you were paying points to buy down an interest rate. The money goes into an impound account. If the buyer refinances after 8 months or a year in the existing loan, the balance of that account goes back to the buyer in the form of a principal pay down or towards closing costs at the time of the refinance. So the money doesn't go away, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for a buyer to shell out, let's call it $12,000 or $15,000 for this buy down, unless a seller is willing to give the credit, unless an agent is hopefully not gonna chip in, but if it's covered, it makes a lot of sense.
Great. Yeah, maybe get you to do a video just on that with the, you know, send out to everybody. It's like
Okay.
5 minutes, right? 3 to 5 minutes.
Sure.
I think
Just
it
like-
would make sense if the seller paid for it.
Well, that's what Andy's saying too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's only applicable
This
on.
is just like paying for their money, you know, putting their money. Yeah.
But if a seller want, I mean, I
too.
think that's something that you want to seller and part of your listing and say seller's willing to buy down, because I have seen that in some listings and it's very intriguing. It does motivate the buyer to be more open to that particular home as well.
Sure. And, you know, every advantage we can have in getting people through it.
You sent out a flyer before, but I think it was a pink, and so people can't really see it.
Oh, about the 2-to-1?
Yeah.
I can send out another flyer about it, sure.
Yeah.
Excellent. Robert, did you have a question?
Yeah, about messaging for our buyers, I'm anticipating having a conversation with some buyers. And them saying, maybe I'll take a wait and see approach and see, you know, where we are. I keep seeing these headlines. And so obviously the message is locally in Los Angeles about what you're going to see nationally. But I'm anticipating them saying, well, where, you know, have you heard locally? And so I'm wondering where I can find that information. Maybe I'd like to put a video and you know, less to sort of get ahead of it. You keep people thinking like, you know, they like don't go to the sidelines, and this might be an opportunity, you know, to get the deal. I'm just trying to sort of work out what message to deliver.
I mean, whether we're talking about Los Angeles on a micro level or nationally, as soon as rates come down, even if they come down 1% and we stick at 6, which I don't think is going to be the case. I think by late spring we'll probably be at 5 or below. Just a guess. I am not.
Don't quote.
I don't have that crystal ball. Things can happen.
Video, keeping current matters, where are some local resources?
Inman News, Keeping Current Matters, they're both great resources for information. And CAR has some statistical information also. That they actually do a good job.
As soon as rates start to adjust and things come down, I mean, we can talk about it a lot. We're back to where we were a year ago.
Yeah.
Affordability might look a little bit different, but a 5% rate or a 4.5% rate is a lot different than a 7.
Absolutely.
Or, you know,
Changes your monthly, it changes your buying power.
yeah, all of a sudden
Dramatically.
it's a little easier to stomach, right? And the sticker shock isn't as severe. So we'll be back to it. Instead of 1 or 2 offers, we're, you know, 15, 20.
It's like this is the calm before the storm of influx of people wanting to make a move quickly again.
Always a transition.
Well, it'll be, you know, listen, again, it's crystal ball stuff, but it'll be interesting to see what, if there's a wave of sellers that are holding back for the, well, that's my assumption also, but then I'm oftentimes not right. But that's my assumption, is that there's a wave of sellers that are holding back
Why would the sellers hold back? Where are they holding back now?
because they're not getting the best price possible, one, and their buy forward is costly. Right? They have to buy, if they're going to buy forward, they have to pay 7%.
Yeah, where are they gonna go with that?
What was that, Lorna?
I was just saying, yeah, where, you know, that's what we're hearing from sellers, like, where am I gonna go? Why would I'm happy enough where I am. Why would I pay this high interest rate, and where am I gonna go?
So I have a client, we had her place on the market. We had several offers. She wants a little bit premium pricing, like the going rate was at the time. We ended up pulling the house off the market because we weren't getting the pricing we wanted. So we wanted to go fresh launch. We missed it, rates hiked, totally missed it. I got a call from one of the buyers that came through, wants to make an all cash offer on the number that she wants. But I can't close this deal, and I'm dueling, but I can't close this deal because I can't find the replacement property with the interest rate that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Well, and they're taking notice. The numbers for September in terms of housing data are out, and that sounds the alarm for the housing recession.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, just so everybody's clear, housing and the stock market are two big systems that drive our economy. Okay, so we're just as important as the stock market in a certain sense, that we are key drivers of our economy. And in this particular case, key drivers of inflation, right? I mean, we were growing at such a high rate and they were giving away money for free and duh, of course, it pushed inflation. You know, we were, and the stock market, same with the stock market, everybody was making lots of money in the stock market. It just can't go on forever. Just adjust. All right, well, let's get moving. Sorry, I don't want Eileen to, Eileen to yell at me. Let's go. Next is Raha. Raha, are you there?
Yes. So I'm going to be quick. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about completing the RPA or disclosures when buyer or seller is an entity. So you can hold title to real estate.
It was fun while it lasted. It was like a tease. Go to Ven, and then when Raha gets back on, we will go to Raha.
All right. She kept it real short. I mean, I don't want to yell that either, so I'm going to keep mine short as well. Just wanted to share today regarding an agent, Dolan Adams. She's a mentee of Lorna and Tracy. So she has been doing some farming. She has been running a certain area, being consistent about it. And she's gotten one of her first leads from it. So, just want to say again, this is what we got to go back to. Right, we want to go back to the basics and be able to go out and be consistent with your marketing. Pick a farm, and the funny thing was, and another thing that she mentioned was there was an agent in there that basically dominates the neighborhood, and I get that all the time. Right, you don't want to go into a certain neighborhood because so and so's in there, they're dominating. Well, not everyone's gonna like that agent. You know what I mean? So don't shy away because of it. Go for it. Just go for it.
Yay to Lon, and it's also her birthday today. So happy birthday.
Oh, I didn't know that. Happy birthday.
We'll sing happy birthday to her when we get to that point. Oh, Joseph. Thank you, Joseph.
Hot diggity.
All right. Thanks, Ben.
All righty. Thank you, guys.
You have a good one. Is Raha back or no? Let's just move forward. She'll get back in. Mary here to say hi. Okay, let's keep the ball rolling.
That's not too long.
Yeah.
Sorry, you gotta
No, it's important. It's
Sorry,
important.
guys.
That's okay, Raha. Go ahead. You're in.
Sorry. All right. I don't know where it got cut off, so I'll just start. So I just wanted to mention completing the RPA when buyer or seller is an entity. So holding title to real estate, you can use revocable trust, LLCs, corporations, partnerships, power of attorney. So in completing the RPA, a contract entered into on behalf of an entity should identify the entity as the buyer or seller and should also identify the signer authorized to sign for that entity, right? So I have a really good quick guide from CAR. By the way, they have great resources on their website. So I'm gonna see if I can paste it into the.
Bam, you're in. Yeah, I don't know. Did we lose you again, Raha? You're on mute.
Oh.
BTW. There you go.
Can you pull that up?
Oh, can I pull it up now?
Yeah, if you click on it.
Oh, I
This
can't.
is- No? All right. If
not-
everyone, I'm just thinking about everyone that's not online. If you guys, this is a great quick guide and explains how to prepare the RPA when your buyer and seller is in an entity. So I get a lot of questions about how to write this. So this is great. And if you have any additional questions after you read this quick guide, you can always reach out to me.
We'll send it out we'll send out a link with the office meeting. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's really helpful because, because there's very, a lot of times. What happened?
Oh, Tiffany comes out of her office to see the visual.
Hi, Tiffy.
right.
So Raha, is the skinny the RCSD form, or is there more to it?
So it gives you examples. So it gives you examples of how to write it when there's a power of attorney. It gives you example about how to write it when it's a trust. And as you guys know, the form that Dragon is mentioning is the representative capacity signature form. So they added this to the RPA, but if the RPA is not filled out with this information, which you can see towards the end of this quick guide, it gives you the sections of the RPA where this is mentioned. If that is not filled out, you will still need that form. But if it is filled out, you won't need that form anymore. But we do need, for example, let's say like it's Larchmont LLC is the seller. You guys can't have Larchmont LLC sign in the sense of they have to sign as an individual or in representative capacity for the LLC. So any signatures that say, for example, Larchmont LLC won't be in compliance. You will have to have the individual signing as representative sign their name or their signature.
They need to be the signature for the corporation
Correct.
and or
Or
the
LLC.
representative or LLC.
Correct. Yes. So this is a great quick guide. Take a look. We'll send it out also, but
Perfect. Thank you, Raha.
of course.
All right. All right.
Hire Raha to be your
She-
TC. to make
you-
sure everything
you
gets done
did- no
properly.
one's disappointed. All right,
Thank you.
let's move on to the bump, bumpy, bump. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. There we go.
Can I just say really quick,
Absolutely.
I hope everybody shows up next week. My bosses and my whole team are gonna be here. I'll bring
Yes.
lunch, be here. too.
There's food involved. They'll be here.
Lunch.
All right, next is birthdays or new agents. Birthdays. All right, let's see. Delon, this is your birthday today. And when it's your birthday, we sing happy birthday to you. All right, who's got the voice? Anybody? Besides me, please. All right. How about happy birthday?
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Delon. Happy birthday to you.
All right. Okay. All right. Also, Marissa Chang, this is her birthday today. You share with her. Aiko, and Shirin all have birthdays today. Happy birthday, you guys. November 1st. Okay, we have some closings. Kaylin on Village Center.
Losing your volume, Joey.
Last week.
Oh, okay.
You are in here. Get with the program, okay? Caitlin Penna closed on Village Center. Paul and Alan on Bay, Laura Anderson on David, Tiffany and Rachel on Berry and Danebrook, Mandy on Kaufman, also Thomas Robertson on Tamron. Congratulations on your closings this week, guys. We also have some new escrows, Laura and Bea on Clone, Christina Kim on Virgil, Tiffany and Rachel on Elm. All have new escrows this week. Some closed leases. Angelia closed 2, Stacy Hahn closed 1, Ian Cherney closed 1, Matthew Lobby, Chloe Kim, and Esther Kim all closed some leases this week. Congratulations, folks. I forget to slap them. New listings. What do we got? Single family. Laura Anderson on San Marino, 36 South San Marino, has in Pasadena, has a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, looks lovely, 1,587 square feet with a reasonable price of $1,389. Also, Pete has a new listing on 315 East 8th. That is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,370 square feet downtown. Yeah, for $850,000. Beauty. Leases. Let's see, DeYoung Her has a 3-bedroom, 4-bath, square foot available for 7,000 a month. That's on Lexington, close by, right? It's great down. They also has a one in La Crescenta, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,190 square feet for 8,500. Tiffany has a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,900 square foot, big one for $3,500 on Orange Grove.
Seems like a steal.
It's close by. Pocket listings, but coming soon. Anybody?
I have
Come on.
one. It's Eileen.
All right, Christina's going to go first, and whoever.
Thank you, Eileen. Thank you.
Eileen, 1 second, Eileen.
Yep.
I have a SFR in Culver City, brand new construction, ground up. It's like a kind of Mediterranean stuff, not really, because the interior is super modern. It's one of my developers that are doing it. He's very interested in applying to selling it to someone pre-finishing. So if you're interested or you've got buyers, it's gonna be in the 3.54 million cap price point, because we have to price it when it's ready. So we're just kind of like to be determined, but the range is there. It's going to be it's a 5-bedroom, 6-bath, gorgeous house, really meticulously done. And he has all these like tech stuff that's in it, but he's got this reverse osmosis kind of like the air thing that where you get fresh air constantly rotating in your house. So it's something new that's been kind of implemented in one of the east sides, and not doing it for greenhouse purposes. Anyway, I'd be happy to, I can even tour you the home. We can send plans over. We're in the process of finishing up the renderings, but it's going to be done hopefully like in February or March. We may roll it out pre-construction in January, because there's a couple of other homes in the same area that are being built out by a different developer and want to roll it all out. So there's definitely great opportunity. So if you've got buyers,
Choose your finishes.
I don't know about that one because it's already been done. But what I can say is that there are some small modifications. I think we'd be very open to doing that. But nonetheless, it's Culver City, new construction, not a whole lot of inventory out there, and there's always tons of tech buyers that are still looking for something. So if you stumble upon a buyer who's looking for new construction,
Well, thank you. Thank
And
you,
the
Christina.
closing would be like after construction? is
Yeah,
that what-
yes, we have to get a certificate of occupancy, but if someone wants to lock in a house, and also maybe they avoid multiples, because I always get multiples in Culver City, if you want to do that. I've also got another one that finished last year. I may get that too again. The current buyers have a job relocation, they have to move within a year.
Current
So that-
owners.
The current owners, yeah. So that's also in the McManus area. So if you guys have Culver buyers, please let me know.
Done. Eileen, what do you have?
So this is up the block. You can hear me, right? Up the block from the office. It's 501 North Gower. If you've been in the business for 7 years, you've probably been in this house. It's a corner house. It was updated 7 or 8 years ago. It was built for someone in a wheelchair. So if you can picture
It's
that with what's that?
It's
What's that?
ADA compliant.
Yeah, I don't know if it's officially ADA compliant, but the halls are wider. You can roll into your shower, et cetera, which is why my client bought it. We're listing at 1.780. The square footage of the main house is 1,560, and then there's an unpermitted back house with a tenant, so they can maybe go or stay if you want to. I'll have photos next week, but it is going on the market tomorrow night and opens Sunday. And the big issue maybe is that there's 20 plus units going up directly behind it on Larchmont. So got to be into that. So I only have a couple photos. I put them in the chat, but contact me if you want to view it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Anybody else? Okay, let's roll on to our special guest for today.
Joey, I got one. Sorry,
All right,
I had my
go
hand
ahead, Will.
raised.
Go ahead, Will. What do you got?
I dropped it in the chat, but 5412 Pico Boulevard. Right now it's off market. The seller is still interested in selling, and we're looking at 1.3 right now. So you can just click on the link to get more information or give me a call.
That's commercial on the first floor and residential on the second.
Correct. And the tenant there's a tenant downstairs in the flower shop. Upstairs is vacant, but the tenant downstairs is very flexible. So if they want the tenant out, no problem.
Excellent. All right. All right. Oh, Tiffany's got one too. Let's go.
So I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo coming up in 90025 zip code. It'll be up next Thursday, either Wednesday or Thursday, 1535 Granville Avenue, Unit 107. We'll be listing at $728,000, and HOA dues are about $345 per month. Let's see, it's an 18-unit building, move-in ready. Client bought it pretty much move-in ready, bachelor, and now he's moving on and hasn't done too much, so he just cleaned it up.
All right.
So
You can make a mess.
great. No, he didn't make a mess. It's what was that? Oh, 728,000. Yeah, and it's 1,100 square feet and has a spacious patio out front.
Excellent.
Place to buy.
Excellent. Thank you, Tiffany. All right. We have a special guest, Ben Levine, today. Sorry, you want to introduce Ben? No? You don't want to? He's a friend and you work with Ben, right? All right.
He needs no introduction.
All right, yeah, I can do my intro.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Joey. You know, I love the saying, people don't plan to fail.
Stand over there.
People don't plan to fail, they fail to plan.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's a good one. Has anyone heard of the Deferred Sales Trust besides Star? No? I love it. So it's good thing I'm here, right? And I do have a presentation we'll put on here that we'll go through. Has anyone had somebody that objected to selling because they didn't want to pay a big capital gains tax? Yeah. Yeah, it definitely happens, right? Somebody has a property that they have a big gain on and their objection is, hey, I don't want to pay the tax, so I'm not going to sell it. This is the perfect solution for that. It's an alternative to a 1031, but of course you can't do a 1031 with a personal residence. And you can use this strategy, this trust for a personal residence. We've done everything from houses to Toyota dealerships to individual stock, you name it. If you have a capital gain, you can defer that tax. So I want to tell you more about that. See, is this a good place to stand?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. I want to be in front of everyone. Okay, so next, please. Awesome, thanks.
Yeah.
Who's, yeah, I don't know, who's, am I controlling this here?
Oh, no, they can go here.
Okay, great. So today I want to tell you who we are and who the estate planning team is, what the deferred sales trust is, how it can defer capital gains tax, a little bit about our history, and tell you if it's the right solution for you. Look at that, Will's up there with me. I love it.
Yeah.
So the estate planning team is a network of thousands of real estate agents, CPAs, attorneys, business brokers, anybody involved in the sale of a capital asset is joins the estate planning team. Every deal that we do requires an independent trustee, and we're the trustees that handle the transaction. So again, it's marketed nationally, and all right, let's keep moving here. We don't have a lot of time. Next.
So it kind of works like a derivative exchange.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, it's an alternative, but you're right, it does the same thing. So has anyone heard of an installment sale? Of course you have, right? I sell my building to you and you pay me on an installment. You're paying me $1 million a year for 10 years. The advantage of that for the seller is that he gets to pay that capital gains tax and spread it out over 10 years as he's receiving those payments. What's the downside of that? No, you get to use it as you receive it, but the downside is,
Use the whole.
you're right, you don't get it all at once. And the worst than that, in year 5, the buyer decides to stop paying you. Right? And when you're selling a business, it's almost inevitable. They come along and say, you know what, the business isn't worth what you said it was worth. Now you have to litigate. It's a bit of a problem. So this is an installment sale, but even better. But that's the basis for it. Next. So who should use a DST? Like I said, businesses, commercial real estate. You can use a primary residence. We did one in Montecito a little while ago. It was 45 million. The basis was 20 million. So a big gain and a big tax. They were able to defer that tax and keep that money. So it's about keeping your wealth longer, which is great. And I'm going to tell you how to get more listings with this also. I know this is all about sales, and I love that. And I think this will help you potentially get some listings. Investment properties, high-end residences. We've done everything from Toyota dealerships to personal residences. Next. So you guys aren't dealing with all of that, but you might be in talking to a CPA, a center of influence, right? An attorney. You're trying to get business or referrals from them. You can now go to them with a solution for the tax that they likely haven't heard of. That's the downside of the deferred sales trust is it's not public knowledge like a 1031. But that's actually good for you because now you can go in, provide a solution to either a client or a center of influence and maybe get in the door when you wouldn't be able to get in the door, right? So what are the options for everybody? Don't sell because I don't want to pay the tax. Do a 1031. Of course, we can't do that with a personal residence, but there are some workarounds for that people do. Sell and pay the tax or use the deferred sales trust. Those are the 4 options. Next. Thank you so much. Let's get past this. We're actually not in the low interest rates anymore. Obviously, we're in that for a long time, but this is a solution for for a particular type of client. And when someone has a big gain and they don't want to sell because of that tax, this is perfect for them. Next. So this is just an example. Somebody selling a house or a business for $5 million. Their cost basis is $1 million. This isn't uncommon in Los Angeles, right? They have a $4 million gain. In California, between all the governor's share and Uncle Sam's share and the investment tax, they could easily be at 37%. So writing a check for 37% is a bummer to a lot of people. Now, if I can keep that in this example, $1,484,000, if I can keep that in the trust working for me, earning 5, 6, 7%, that can make a difference to my retirement. And I can go back out later on and buy another property, not a personal residence, but anything else. So this would be like an investment property. But there's a lot of buyers out there that have those that you probably want to do. Okay, so that's the basic math on it. In California, it's pretty expensive, right? Crazy. Next. So this is kind of the process. It doesn't affect what you guys do. You have a seller that wants to sell a house, a high-end home. You're still going to market it. Hopefully the DST will allow you to get the listing. Again, if you're trying to get a listing and the buyer says, I don't want to sell because I know I'm going to pay a bunch of tax. Now you've got a solution for that. You can say, I have a solution for that and bring us into the mix and we can see if it's the right fit. But I've had a lot of people tell me that, even if they don't use it, it's still separated me from the rest of the competition. I'm not only going to do a great job marketing their property and bring all your expertise, but now you have a tax solution, which is even better. Again, something they haven't heard from anybody else, which is great. So the whole process is just that the way it normally would be. The difference is there's a trust that's been created. And we're buying that property from the seller, and the seller's taking back a note, and then we're turning around and selling it just like you normally would. And the buyer never knows any difference. They just see it, being bought from a trust. They think it's somebody's revocable living trust. So never a problem with that. So these are just kind of the basic steps. We turn around, sell it to the ultimate buyer for the same price. The trust doesn't make any money. We're not trying to do that. But now we have all that money sitting in the trust that is invested and can be taken as, again, that note that the seller's taking back a note and getting income, and they can take principal as they need it. So there's a lot of tax engineering that you can do, which is great, a lot of flexibility. So, this is kind of the basic process. This is a lot, so I don't want to take too much time on it. I just want you to understand when it's appropriate and the value of it. And hopefully if you run across the right deal, you know, it helps you out.
Is it a fixed account, like or investment?
It's invested.
It's invested.
Right.
Like, does the seller have any influence over what
Absolutely.
it gets invested in?
All input. Yep,
Do we do
exactly.
risk? Do we do high risk, low risk?
Right. As soon as that money's in the trust, we're getting a risk questionnaire from the note holder, the ultimate seller. He's telling us how much risk they want to take, and we don't invest the money. There's a financial advisor that invests that portfolio of dollars. And the portfolio needs to be invested so that it can pay that seller that 5% note.
Sure.
And then if he or she wants to take principal over a certain number of years, or they can take principal when maybe they're in a lower tax bracket 1 year. So it's nice and flexible. Did you have a question?
Yeah, how is it insured?
How is it insured? Well, all the money is there. And nothing can be done with the money unless the note holder approves it. So the note holder is getting quarterly statements. They can see exactly where the money's at. Nothing can be moved. We as trustees don't have the power to take any money and go to the Caymans. The seller, the note holder has to approve everything, from the investments to when they want to take money. Hopefully. So next, just want to make sure I get through all of it. So some of the benefits, again, flexible payment options, liquidity and diversification, different than a Delaware statutory trust. You guys have probably heard about those. We do use those when there's mortgage over basis, but this is, I think, much better because here you have full liquidity. If you ever want to just take all your money and walk away, you can, which is beautiful. You know, in a Delaware statutory trust, you don't have liquidity, you don't have any control. Here you have all the control, which is wonderful. We just had somebody sell an apartment building, $59 million. They had a $5 million basis, huge gain. They would have had to write a check for $15 million. They get to keep that $15 million, earning 6 or 7%. What a difference to the retirement income, right? I mean, it's amazing. It's huge. So an alternative to a 1031, we rescue a lot of 1031s. In other words, they've come up against the time constraints. They can't identify a property. They can't close. They can then roll into a deferred sales trust and continue that deferral. So this is all about tax deferral and about keeping more of their wealth, working for them longer. And they can get back into real estate too. So all that money is invested, but down the road, right, you want to sell in a good market and buy in a bad market. All that money's in the trust invested, but if they say, hey, I want to buy another piece of property, they can do that. The trust can invest with them, and we push all the
tax implications.
No tax implications. And the beautiful thing is different than a 1031. When you use a 1031, you carry over the same depreciation schedule, right? So you have to almost buy up to get any more depreciation, and depreciation is a big reason why people invest in real estate. With the deferred sales trust, when they invest back into real estate, when the time's right, they start a new depreciation schedule. CPAs love that. That's a huge, huge tax advantage. All right, next. Oh, and the other great thing is sever partnerships. But sometimes you have an investment where there's 3 or 4 investors. Maybe one wants to go one way and one wants to go the other way. They can do their own deferred sales trust. The other one can do a 1031. It's nice and flexible that way. Again, it's based upon section 453, which has been around for 80 years in the code. We've been around for 25 plus years, done thousands of deals. It's been audited 21 times by the IRS. Every time, no change. So it definitely works. You know, you don't stick around for 25 years unless something works. And every deal that's done, the attorneys that draft the trust, they guarantee that they will defend you if you're ever audited by the IRS, which is really important. And it's in our best interest because we've had 21 audits and we don't want one to fail. So we want to be there to defend them. Next. Again, this is the advantages over a 1031. I already talked about that. We can keep going. So this is just the process. If you have a client that might be interested, or an attorney or a CPA that you're trying to get in with that might want to learn more, all you have to do is email or call me. We'll get them on the phone with our tax attorneys. There's never a charge to them. So they're never going to get a bill from our attorneys or from us unless they actually end up using the trust. So that's the first step. Just give us a call. Let's see if it's the right case, you know, if it's a right fit for the client. If it is, then we move forward with everyone. If not, you know, we had a good phone call. Next. Yeah, so we do have, actually, for realtors, we will give you your own website if you want one. Your own deferred sales trust website where you can, lead people to put in their information, and then it comes to us, and then we call you and we see if it's a good fit. So it's just a way, another marketing tool. I don't know if it conflicts with what you guys are doing, but if you wanted one, we do give realtors. All of it, exactly. Something to talk about that likely no one else is talking about. I think that's basically it. Any questions?
It seems like
I have a ton of questions, but it might be
Oh,
more appropriate
there's
for me to actually teach a class, Joey.
Charlotte wants a class on this. Yeah. Okay, we all.
I don't want to ask, I mean, I have a couple simple questions, but I know there's a time issue here, so I don't know how you want to handle it.
Sure, let's, I'm happy to bring back, you want to teach
Your
a class?
info,
You
yeah.
think there's,
Yeah.
it's
Your
really-
info on the next slide.
I don't know. We'll go the next slide. See if there's any. Is there one more slide?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. So there's my contact information. I have brochures here. You can take one of those. It's got my contact information on the back. If you give me your card, I'll have my assistant email you a digital brochure that you can easily pass on to clients. It's just another tool in your chest, right?
It seems like a tax vehicle that rich people use that nobody talks about. Right?
Exactly. That's the challenge, is unless you've been involved in a deal and you wouldn't know about it. That's the obstacle. It's not common knowledge. But I'll tell you, when you tell a CPA about this and they haven't heard about it, their eyes light up and say, hey, I want to know about that, because it makes them more valuable.
That's a tool in there too, for sure.
And I've had deals that haven't closed for one reason or another, but the CPA called me and said, you know what, you made me look good, because no one else had a solution when they were selling this asset except for me. And that's a good thing to hear, right? That's going to get you referrals and business. So good news. Yeah. So my contact information's on the brochures. Feel free to take one. I'm happy to come back and teach a class if you think it's needed.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. But Ben, can I ask you just a real quick question?
Please, yes.
So this totally makes sense to me from the perspective of anything investment oriented, selling something investment. But if you have a client, a high net worth client that's selling a primary residence and wants to just move somewhere else to a different part of the city or whatever, whether it's downsizing, upsizing, whatever, it doesn't sound like they can necessarily use the proceeds from sale number one for purchase number two. Am I correct in
You're
that?
absolutely right. The one
Okay.
thing that you technically cannot do is use the proceeds to buy another personal residence.
Okay, that's what
And we just did a deal where they already.
And take the proceeds from a personal residence.
Yes.
Okay.
So you can sell a personal residence, use the deferred sales trust to keep more of that wealth in there and defer paying the tax and keep it working for you. But if somebody's going to turn around within the next year and just buy another house, this isn't the right thing. Now, that being said, that house in Montecito, when they had the big gain and they had $45 million sitting in the trust, they went out and bought 2 more properties in Montecito, paid cash with the trust money, flipped it, made $5 million on one deal. They bought a house in Hollywood, the Hollywood Hills, made money on that. So, and this other client that just did one, they had a condo in Florida. So even though they're buying another condo for 13 million in Florida, we can say that one is their primary residence. So sometimes there's workarounds and there's ways to do it. Every deal is different and we want to make sure we do it right. But the bottom line is it's something you can talk about with people. And I think it'll get you in some doors.
That's a magic tool.
Got your magic, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I think
other questions?
a class that, because most of us do residential in this office.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some that do some level of investment, but a class that would kind of help us understand that circumstance. I have a lot of clients that are sitting on their houses because their gains are so much, but they would actually just like to buy another house.
Right, and you can take part of the proceeds and buy a house and pay tax on that amount. So sometimes if they have a big gain and they're downsizing, they might not need all the money.
Right. No, but and you may not know the answer to this, but I'm assuming since you're moving it into this trust, if you were to do that and the person's over 55, it would negate their ability to utilize Prop 19 now.
No,
correct?
nope,
It wouldn't.
nope.
So they could essentially have their cake and eat it too, if
Yeah.
they're downsizing, like if they're not using the entire amount.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
it works well. Again, it's different for every client in every circumstance. And the first step is to get on the phone and find out what, what the seller is trying to accomplish, what the goals are, and make sure that it's suitable. If it's not, at least everyone learned something. If not, if it is, it's great. So, yeah.
I have a real quick question. This is Alex.
Hi.
If you said that if you have a client that is looking to sell their property, let's say it's an investment property, do you represent that sale as their agent? Okay.
No, absolutely not. We are not in your business at all. We're not into managing the money. We are simply the trustees. So the law firm that created this 26 years ago requires an independent trustee, and they've appointed us as one of the trustees. So my partner is actually a CPA, which is a big advantage too. If you have a client, they want to calculate, hey, how much tax are we going to pay? He can run those numbers for him. But we are only the trustee. The other parties are the attorneys that draft the documents, and then the financial advisor that's going to manage the money in the portfolio. And then whoever the broker was for the seller, whether it's a real estate agent or a business broker. We do a lot of businesses and commercial and residential real estate.
So that owner puts it into the trust, and then you as their agent, then you sell it as an owner, the trust.
Yeah, we're not the agent, we're the trustee.
Right.
And we're not involved or take any part of anybody's commission or anything like that. We're just doing the trustee work. Remember, we're buying it from the seller and then turning around and selling it immediately to the ultimate buyer. And that's all happens behind the scenes. The ultimate buyer never knows any of that.
I think what Alex is asking is when you take the listing, is the seller's name the trustee name at that moment, or is it the
No.
seller and no? Okay.
No, but we want to have language in the documents that allows for the trust to be the seller. So,
Raha was talking about earlier in the meeting.
right, exactly. Yeah.
So one more question then is, since essentially whatever normal sales would occur without this, they'd be paying their capital gain would be paid at the capital gain rate, which is significantly lower than normal income tax rates. Does that change the status of that money? So say they sold something and then they bought something else 2 years later with that, so it's still, it would still be at the capital gain rate.
Yep, exactly. Still capital gains tax. Now, the taxes could go up or down in the future, which is always, a risk. But, when you're able to keep your money working for you, the rule of 72, if you're earning 7.2%, in 10 years, your money's going to double. So if you're keeping that money in the trust long enough, eventually it's going to double, then you can pay the tax. So it's all about keeping your wealth longer, deferring tax, and creating more income for clients. And I understand it's not always appropriate with you guys because of the, it's not great if you're selling a home and you want to buy another one right away. But if you're selling one and you got a huge gain and you only need part of that money to buy a new house, it can work great.
And does
Even if the client never uses it, pardon?
Does it affect the standard exemptions, the 250 or 500K?
No, it does not. You keep those.
You still get that?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think we'll definitely have you back. It's a really interesting vehicle.
Good,
We'll
good.
definitely have you back, kind of extended.
Yeah, no, great. Appreciate
Well
your,
worth it, well worth it.
I've got brochures. If you want one, please take one. If you want to give me your card,
Yep, put them on the list.
happy to do that. too.
Absolutely. Ben, thank you so much. It's actually,
I'll have the brochures in the back.
I trusted Star, and it's a great tool. All right, guys.
I just want to say that Ben does other, it can help in other ways too, so we maybe we'll have two classes.
Financial management.
Financial management.
Wow. Right, excellent. All right, excellent. So you guys have a great, any wants or needs, fill the bucket? Yeah.
We're good.
All right.
See everybody
You guys-
tomorrow.
you guys, tomorrow at the